Now, more of your questions coming into us here on League Sunday through our Twitter account, and that is at League Sunday RTE. We're talking football this week, and to that extent I have here with me in studio Tomás O'Shea and Kevin McStay. Gentlemen, you're very welcome indeed, and thank you very much indeed for fielding the questions this week. And the first of those, Tomás, comes from a Twitter account that signs itself Don't Foul. And the gist of it is, forwards have made hay with the black card. With the pre-championship break coming up, will defences come up with ways to counteract this? And this, I suppose, is a big question because we've seen such a reduction in cards through the league campaign. Yeah,
I don't know, Michael. I think it's hard to I suppose we won't know properly till championship time. My own personal view on it is that the black card is players are kind of half afraid to commit to serious challenges. So those players that are well able to run, the likes of the Darren O'Sullivans, the Mark Lynch's, the Paul Kerrigans, they'll attack a lot more. They'll make a lot of those runs because they know well that if they're taken down, it's possibly a black card. The defenders will know that as well. Will defences set up differently? I'm not sure. I'll be interested to see will defences drop one or two men back in championship, which we haven't seen to date. A lot of people are putting it down to the black card, but there's a lot of defences not packing fellas back either. So championship will tell a lot. I don't think they'll change much more than what they're doing at the moment now.
Yeah, I suppose, Kevin, like through the league campaign, there has been a feel-good factor about this black card experiment because the stats are showing that it has improved football. But as Tomás alluded to, come championship and things get a lot more serious, then we'll see, I guess.
That's the acid test, the championship. And I think for me, and we've spoken about this before, it will be when there's the extra cameras and the extra attention of championship time on the games, and the debate will turn to, very quickly, I'm sure of it, why weren't black cards issued?
Yeah.
Why are yellows been issued in lieu of black cards? That will be the big challenge for the officials to,
sure.
In so much as they can, they'll have to standardise it and get consistent. Otherwise, there'll be mayhem for the championship, and it won't be acceptable during the championship that decisions that we don't see on camera during a league are let off. That won't happen.
Yeah, but do you think the Portons are good though, nonetheless?
I do. I'm like I'm an advocate of it.
Yeah.
I really. I'm impressed by the way they went about their business. But even today's game now, I thought in the Derry Mayo game, I thought defences were beginning to tighten up a small bit. There was a lot more bodies behind the ball than I'd seen in the league matches I was at with you during the spring. So I think they'll try and tighten it up. But Tomás's point is absolutely valid. The speedsters, you can't mark pace, and if they run at the heart of your defence, you can't drag them down, or else you can,
sure.
but you're heading for the dressing room. So that'll be a huge thing to see in the championship.
Yeah. Well, I suppose the black card experiment has gone well so far, but we want to move on to another question that has come in, this one from Sean Cooney. And Sean says, this is to Tomás O'Shea. Tomás, he says, how long did you train for in a day and how many days a week? Sean Cooney, that's a Cork name, so maybe he's looking for a bit of advice or a few tips.
Not enough days in the week for you.
Well, Michael, I suppose, at the start, when I started out my career, we was totally trained a different way altogether to the way we trained when I finished. I suppose you'd never train for more than 2 hours on a day, and I suppose that'd be towards the end of my career. We were training 4 to 5 nights a week, maybe 3 nights on the field, and then maybe 2 inside in the weights, and possibly then core as well. So it got really serious towards the end of it. But early on in our careers, with the training, the diets, everything, backroom teams were totally different. So nowadays, I'd say teams wouldn't be training for more than 2 hours at a time on any session.
Yeah. Do you think, Kevin, that to some degree people are trying to reinvent the wheel here with the way teams are being trained?
I'd much prefer if they concentrated on the skills of the game, because I think that's where the big dividends are, not the physical side of it, the conditioning. You have to have that to compete, but beyond that, the big gains are in good decision making, high skill level. That's where the differences in the good teams are. You're not going to be betting a big final for lack of fitness in Croke Park.
Of course, absolutely. All right, another question. This one comes from Scott Winters, and I like this one. And this goes to both of you. You've obviously, the two of you have had great days in your football careers, but Scott wants to know, what was your worst moment in football for both panellists?
Ooh. That's an easy one for me, Tomás. the losing the 89 final, Michael, was hard. Like, it's hard. It's really hard, and not ever getting back up to win one then, adds to it.
Jumped out in Tuam, I remember, the following year.
And it's over then. It's over then. But I suppose just not letting it impinge too much in your life, getting on with it, but just from a sporting point of view, not a life point of view, sporting, having great regrets that you didn't win one was tough.
Of course. Tomás, as I said, you have so many great memories.
Yeah,
there a
we
bad one
were
in there?
lucky enough. We had a few bad ones. All right, I would have to agree with Kevin. Sporting wise, probably 2002, we played Armagh. Armagh had we'd beaten Armagh in 2000 in the semi-final. They came back in 2002. It was just a bad day for us. We lost by a point. We played terribly in that second half. And I suppose it was the first time Paddy was in charge.
Yeah.
It was the first time that the three of us had played in our Ireland final together. Dara was captain. My man got man of the match, so it was just a bad day.
That was a bad hair day, all right.
So that always sticks in my mind for some reason.
Yeah, no, I'd say I understand that reason.
You didn't get a puncture.
No, I'd say we didn't care at that stage.
Right, last question, lads, and this is a good one to finish on. And it comes from Francis Cullen. And Francis says, this is again to the two of you, who is the Kerry man that Tomás and the Mayo man that Kevin would have loved to have played with?
Well, a bit like, you know how it was special for you to have your brothers playing with you. My younger brother was a very decent player, but
yeah.
Just as he was coming on the scene, I broke my legs and I had to retire. I would have loved to have played with him because we obviously knew each other fierce well from club football, and he'd nearly know how you'd be. Well, he did know how you were thinking, and he'd put it into your eye if you wanted it put there. So I would have loved to have played with him because he was good, but it just didn't happen. But I think that's the player Tomás, I would have liked to have played with.
You did play with your brothers, but who else?
I did. I played with my brothers and I enjoyed it. I suppose I was thinking about it. There's a lot of great players in Kerry down the years that you would have liked to have played with, but I would have loved to have seen Jacko playing with. I'd have loved to have seen Jacko and Dara together and see what they would have got up to.
That'd be some lethal midfield.
Yeah. Be much ball for anyone else.
Two good characters, two strong
characters. There'd be a lot of
characters.
counties with bad days in football, then I can tell you.
Well, Jacko was always a hero of ours in Kerry, and box-to-box player, as I used to call him, and really brilliant player for so long, for so many years. But
I trained with him twice, 3 times a week in Belfield. Oh, geez, he was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just to train with him, just fantastic.
All right, lads. Well, listen, thank you very much indeed for that, Tomás O'Shea and Kevin McStay. Thank you for your thoughts. Thanks to you, of course, as usual, for all of your questions. And remember, you can always contact us at League Sunday, and that Twitter address again is @League Sunday RTE.